If you are a business owner and you're looking to prompt anti-gravity in the correct way, let me show you how I go about that. Alright, so as we are now in anti-gravity, take a look at this. Now, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to open my phone and I will talk into the prompt engineering custom GPT so that it picks up what I'm actually giving as instructions to anti-gravity, and then I will utilize that on Thursday when I have my planned day to go over my processes and put all of that into the right places. Watch me do this. Welcome to What is Working in AI Today, a late evening session. Without further ado, let us go into that. Welcome, prompt engineer. Okay, I'm about now to prompt anti-gravity, and I would like you to take note of all of the mistakes and the errors that I see in the current process, so that once the model Opus 4.5 and the associated credits replenish on Thursday, I will find a way to make this process even stronger, because it does sometimes break. I realize that when I use, for example, Gemini 3 Pro, it doesn't perform as well as Gemini 3 Flash. Now I'm out of Opus credits, so I would love to utilize the next Opus 4.5 credits in order to hard code into the associated Python scripts so that the process does not fail and that it gets executed by Gemini 3 Pro and Gemini Flash alike without errors. And I would love to have the prompt in a way that it does not need any more authorization, but only with a few associated Python scripts, which is number one, the retrieve email from the calendar Python script, and then you need to instruct Opus, as I'm giving this prompt to the model, to find out which one that is based on the previous chat history. That is important, that all the entire week, once I'm talking to the model, you please instruct it in this way. Once the credits replenish, please tell it to review the chat history of all of the chats that I have been conversing with the model through, and find the common patterns, and also ask it whether it is possible to analyze the breaking points of the process, as we are learning right now how to formulate or articulate the processes that we ideate. So with that, please do that. And now I am starting the flow. Yeah, okay, first of all, here are the points that I've currently identified where it usually breaks, and then you please listen in as I'm giving the spoken instructions to the model, and I'm going to comment to you in the same way as I go through the process, and you please pick up the points of improvements. Now, what I've currently seen is there are three processes to the few steps to the process. First of all, as I now remember the process in the way that it was that I give a brief audio prompt to the model, telling it to utilize the meeting transcript provided, then I paste the transcript in, and tell it to please withdraw the proper email address from my calendar, which is step one. Then to draft the meeting summary from the template, from the Google Docs template provided in my Google Drive. And there it always runs the certain meeting transcript, create meeting summary.py, this one. And then it usually asks for the draft gmail.py. And so that's it. And so please also tell it that there are a few other Python files like draft Marcus email, draft Richard email, create meeting doc.py, create meeting summary.py. There are various ones, and I needed to please consolidate the ones that I've got. Yes. And then please also answer the question for me what best practices would be in order to back up this data, because what I've currently done is that I've utilized that and made a local copy of it, as well as committed that to GitHub, so that I have the previous iteration saved where the flow was flawlessly executed. Now please clarify all of this for me, what I've said, give out the prompt for future reference so that I can utilize that on Thursday. And then let us go in and you please listen in as I instruct the model. Thank you very much. Now, we hit send on the phone. What I here do is I utilize a custom GPT from the ChatGPT store, which is called Prompt Engineer. Has 3 million chat interactions and is good, in my opinion, to create prompts from verbal instructions that I give it. Now, we will let this run and I will read through that and then we instruct the model. In order to, you can see that, right? Yes, we instruct the model so that it then processes the meeting summary. Okay, so that's great. I understand exactly what you're trying to do here. I'll do 3 things in the correct order per your instructions and best practice. Give you the prompt ready, master prompt, clarify and normalize what you described, answer your backup versioning question. Good. Master prompt, this is the prompt you paste into Opus 4.5 on Thursday. Good. Role and context, perfect. Objects, step 1, step 2, historical data, yes. Workflow normalization, perfect. Script consolidation analysis, oh, this is tremendous. Step 4, execution rules, very nice. Step 5, model robustness, constraints, output format, fantastic. Confirmation, what you said clarified and where it breaks. Okay, very good. Primary breaking points identified, this is great. Okay, good, very nice. Now, thank you very much. Now please listen in as I'm describing the process to you and you just take additional notes for further context. Now I'm starting the voice input into the model. Okay, thank you very much. Now please take this meeting transcript and utilize the scripts that we always use without making any adjustments to the provided Markdown files or Python scripts. Just utilize the ones that are there. Specifically the ones to look up the email from the calendar, then draft the meeting summary utilizing the Google Docs template that is already provided. You have the introduction, the instructions in the associated Python files on the left. And then please draft the email to the person. This time I will give you the email together with the meeting summary just so that you can execute that faster. Thank you very much. Now I've clicked submit, then I paste in the meeting summary, and now I will just take the email and shift out of the picture so that you don't see the email that I'm pasting in, because I will, yes, and paste that in, and paste that in. And then we hit send. And that is fantastic. And now we're back. Take a look at that. Isn't that fantastic? Now, here now I'm talking back to you, prompt engineer, on my phone. And creating that process. So I'm documenting the process as it goes. Okay, thought for 2 seconds, analyzed, create the meeting summary. Okay, now it is generating the first response, initiating the output. Thought for 2 seconds, it analyzed the create underscore meeting underscore summary.py. Now it's editing the task. Now it's thinking for another 2 seconds. It's thinking, it's generating, editing the meeting underscore summary underscore name. For that, okay, it analyzed the Python script create underscore meeting underscore summary. Now it is thinking again. It analyzed it. There are a few steps. Now it's analyzing the workflow creation, and now it is generating. And please also note that every time it usually asks me for my input and for my authorization, and I would love to configure it in a way that it doesn't need to do that, but only for these specific tasks, so that eventually, and that is also my goal with all of that, I can give it the webhook for my for my Fathom note taker. And you please also clarify for me how I would then set that automatic so that it runs inside anti-gravity. Maybe it is stored up and then it just asks me for permission to run all of that once I log into anti-gravity, so that it's as seamless as possible. So let's imagine that I have 3 meetings back to back in the morning, then I log into anti-gravity as I prepare breakfast or as I unpack the breakfast that I've gotten delivered, etc. And then I just click yes, yes, yes. It drafts the emails automatically, and then I just go over the emails and the meeting summaries without sitting through the entire session like I do right now, which is okay currently as I'm just documenting the process, but eventually I would love to have it easily configured. Okay, now it analyzed the config.json, which is fantastic, and now it asks me run the command. The C users, okay, So I'm running the command now of the draft_gmail_summary. Now it is checking the command status, and that is all pretty good and pretty fantastic as we are making videos about anti-gravity. So it's requesting another permission right now in the terminal. Test path, run the command, which is token_docs.json. Okay, we accept that too. So that was now the second acceptance that I needed to give it. Excuse me, myself. The second acceptance that we needed to give it, the second permission. Now it's asking for the third permission, creating Google Doc and draft Gmail. So run the meeting summary, meeting_summary_name.md, run the command. Yes, we accept that. So that was the third acceptance. And here it says now running create_meeting_dot.py to generate the Google Doc and then drafting the follow-up email. Okay, that's exactly what we want. And now it is executing that. And so far there were 4 acceptances. And as I said, I would love to find a way to make the acceptance not as frequent and ideally automatic. And so please answer this for me also. As I have anti-gravity, it needs to be connected to the internet for the workflows to run. It's not like n8n or make.com where a webhook can just trigger that and it can run on the background. Or is there a way to do that without utilizing n8n? Now it's requesting the 5th permission of another token_gmail.json. Okay, so it pulls in the tokens. That makes sense to authorize all of the apps. Yeah, let's see if there's a way to make this more smooth. Okay, now it's drafting the follow-up email. There were no errors so far, which is so interesting. Gemini 3 Pro gives out repeated errors. Gemini 3 Flash does it without errors. That is something that I've seen now for the last meeting transcripts that I've made. It is very, very interesting. And so yeah, with that, take a look at that. Here is now as you can see, another command, Python execution draft. Exactly, we accept. That is now, I think, the 6th time that we need to accept something. I hope I'm not talking here too long, so that it actually picks up all of that. But I think the Python execution draft is now running. It's checking the command status, generating. And I hope that it actually does all of that nicely and automatically. So yeah, these are the processes that I would like to clarify. And so that the message doesn't get too long, I will now stop this here in just a second. I hope that this is now coming up with the final plan, so that we can take a look at what the second process is for the second meeting summary. As we're now going back to all of it. Yeah, so I'm just going to give you the input here. Maybe there are some steps missing, but I'll leave it at this message. Now, I've given the instruction now to the GPT so that the message doesn't go over time and gets deleted altogether, because I've seen that before, that when the audio message, the audio input gets too long, it doesn't transcribe properly and just gets exited or arrows out. And we hope that that doesn't happen, because this is very valuable information on how the process runs. Okay, now it's created the walkthrough and notified the user. Fantastic. Good. So these were now 6 executions, as I realized that. And yeah, all of that needs to be automated and optimized a little bit, but we're getting there. We're refining the process and we're making it better, easier, simpler. Fantastic. Google Doc created. Okay, let's just check briefly the document and see how it looks. Fantastic. Okay. All right here. Epiphanies. Yeah, it puts all of that into 2 pages. That's pretty decent. That is really decent. Okay, good. Now, let us go back to anti-gravity, and we will grab now the second, as I'm redacting the names here. Yeah, people we will redact the names. It's okay. Nobody has seen nothing. It's fine. And now we are going into the second call that we have and just process the same transcript in the same kind of way. Okay, got it. I've listened to the entire narrative flow and captured additional context, failure points and concrete improvement opportunities. Below is a structured set of notes you can treat as design documentation for the next Opus 4.5 run and for hard coding stability into anti-gravity. I'll keep this tight and operational. That's exactly what we want. Fantastic. What you just demonstrated, clear reconstruction, actual runtime flow observed. For one meeting, the system currently does. The user gives high-level instruction, use it, paste, meeting transcript model, reads instructions, selects the calendar, permission 1, permission 2, permission 3, permission 4, drafts model, no hard errors, access a new, perfect, that's perfect. Newly identify breaking friction point. This is really good. Okay. Fantastic. Fantastic. Oh, this is so good. This captures it all. It's absolutely great. Okay. Now, we're going to do now for the second meeting transcript another run through. Follow me into the jungle. Let's go. Okay, thank you so much. Now, that was indeed everything, and it just created the walkthrough for me, drafted the email from the template. It's all okay. Now, I'm doing the second transcript run. We have 3, 2 more, and the names are obviously redacted here for my YouTube capture, but we have copied that now. We click on accept all for everything, and then we go, thank you very much now for having created this meeting the meeting summary so flawlessly. Do another one for this transcript and draft it to 2 emails simultaneously, in the sense of both one email to 2 addressees, like 2 email addresses that go simultaneously, or because there are 2 partners on that call. Thank you very much, and execute it just the same. Change nothing in the Python scripts and just execute the flow, please, in the way that you always do. I appreciate you. Thank you very much. Now, we're sending this over, and we are copying the meeting transcript, and then we are easily and effortlessly now copying the 2 emails. As my meeting is fairly slow as I'm here, also realizing my YouTube, my goodness, my computer's about to burst, I guess. It's not bursting. So, alright, email number 1. And that is now here. Email number 2, guys. Would you believe it? I do believe. Okay. And then we send it over. Good. Now here we are. Now, as it's now walking through this here, I can take you back behind the scenes. And behind the scenes back, exactly we are. Take a look at that. So, as you're seeing right now here, anti-gravity is working. And so there are a few components. As you can see here, there is on one hand the left side panel. On the left side panel, which you can see here, there are the Python scripts, right, that you see up and down. And then on the right hand side, you actually see my instructions as it goes forward. Now this is what anti-gravity does and what anti-gravity is very good at, of giving these instructions. And then you have this middle section here where it usually gives you out all of the prompts, not the prompts, but the action steps that it gives. Okay, so now we go back to full screen mode and we are here. That was just an explanation for the YouTube channel to the prompt engineer here. Now, as it's now saying thought for 2 seconds, so it's analyzing the meeting transcript for names redacted. It creates an implementation plan. It's updating task.md and extracting the key points from the transcript. Okay, I think task.md might be just the usual one that it always uses. Now it asks me to accept all. Probably asking for permission again. Yeah, so please also tell me how it would check the version history of all of the files on the left hand side, because then it can basically learn from the changes that it made and then match the changes that were made over time with the actual outcome that it should produce. Also realizing, wow, it created the implementation plan already. New draft the emails, meeting summary. Okay, so we click accept all and it made the plan already without 3 implementations. Now let's see what happens as it actually goes and executes and implements. But see, this is how we're iterating upon the processes here. And yeah, so you can take a look and you can take inspiration from that for your own processes. So I would like to ask you right now, as you're looking in the camera here, can I actually stop this? Oh, it stops all of it. Yeah, I got it. Okay. As I'm looking here into the camera, I said execute the plan. Fantastic. Okay, additional notes captured from the second transcript run. What changed in run 2? Second transcript, the same session. Despite the workflow still executed, meeting summary was generated, email was drafted, permissions were requested, task limit was updated again. An implementation plan. This tells us alert, new failures, inefficiency. Well, okay. Can I stop this? Should I stop it mid-run? Short answer, yes, and you should design from that. Okay, grace for interruption, okay. At the edge of its ideal capacity, guided execution, human-in-the-loop approval. Okay, great. Transparent workflows, great for YouTube. Exactly. That's exactly what we do. What this leaves you. Thursday ready. Now you have a document ready for workflow. Okay. Now, actually, I was just talking to YouTube, but hey, please capture this now too. After the first implementation plan acceptance approval that I've given it, it's asking now create the Google Doc from the Markdown summary for create_meeting_doc.py file. I'm not sure, that might be different than the other .py file for the creation. So I think there are 2 that needs to be in the meeting notes and needs to be pointed out to the model next time. Thank you very much. So I click accept all, and then it's already creating the Google Doc from the Markdown summary, which is absolutely fantastic. Okay, great. And this is pretty good. This is pretty good. And all of that is very, very nice. So, yeah, I realized that before I publish that I really need to do some editing and like redact a few things. And anyways, gotta get better at that. As it's taking in some names here. Yeah, how do you redact that easily? Well, I guess, you know, could be various people. I don't know. Better ask for instead of permission, But like, yeah, next time I will absolutely redact that for sure. Okay, drafting follow-up emails, run the command. Yes, we click draft the names underscore email.py. Okay, we accept that. Accepting all of it. It's absolutely okay. Hey, I mean, hey, that should be in the meeting transcript too. Please tell it. As I'm doing YouTube videos, can you please make the Python scripts for, like, for example, create meeting templates, etc. explicit, but can you redact the names of my clients? Can you just use their initials, for example? Because I know exactly who that person is with that initial, right? From the meeting that I've put in. But can you then, redact the name for YouTube purposes? Would that be possible? And then in the same way as I have a .json file, or like rather a credentials underscore config.json file, I would also have a clients underscore config.json file where where it matches all my client names with the initials, because I do want to do more YouTube content on that. Please ask it if it also could do that. And yeah, all of that obviously needs to be put into an action plan, right? Okay, so now Google Doc created, summary created, Gmail drafted. All right, so we will now redact the names again. Sorry, the redact, yeah, exactly, and open the meeting summary. This is all very fantastic. Let's see if all of this worked. And yeah, as we're going over the meeting summary, I will now also give you some feedback on the actual summaries. Now, there was a previous iteration of this workflow where all of that was already done successfully. Now, there is some, sorry, I'm like losing all right, good. So, for the headline, the meeting summary is not formatted in Markdown. That means it is not bold, it is not big. It is just a small headline, which is fine. I can definitely improve upon that. The Markdown doesn't even work. Unbelievable. So yeah, please also instruct me how... What? That is very curious. How on the main headline where it says meeting summary dash, when I enter a hashtag, it does not do it. It does not create a bigger headline. On the other hand, when I do that for the subheadline, it does create a bigger headline. Very fascinating. So yeah, anyways, the headlines need to be formatted at H1. That's pretty much it, the main feedback to the meeting summaries. So yeah, it created also for the second run through everything nicely. Now please process all of that and then we do the third run. But like, yeah, it is very curious that the headline does not react to any Markdown at all. So if I delete the formatting with that clear formatting that is like Control plus backslash, when I clear the formatting, it does do that. So yeah, please write it also that we need to find a way to make the Markdown so that the main headlines say meeting summary dash name and then the date, that is also formatted big in Markdown. So yeah, this is my feedback for the second rundown. Thank you very much. Very interesting. So interesting. But it's also so fun to go over the processes like that and publish all of that and just utilize my time in the best possible way and stay energetically on point. Yeah, this 2-page meeting summary is like really, really good. Really, really good. That is really, really good, man. I'm so sorry for this behavior, Mr. Vino here. But like, yeah, these iterations on the meeting summaries are pretty good. I like this very much. All right, meeting summary here. Good, 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 good. That is getting into a proper program. Very nice. We just got to be good enough. Fantastic. Okay. Okay, so that was it. Now we do the last run through, and then we're already ready to wrap up the day. How beautiful is that? It is so beautiful. It really is so beautiful. Thank you so much. Good Lord. Okay. Now here's the third run through. Okay. The third and last. Now I've realized that looking at the meeting summary, this is about as good of a meeting summary as it can be. And I can obviously give that as an example to the model. So please remind me please put that into the prompt as some kind of healthy injection that it prompts me to give back that example of that meeting summary to the model as we're refining the process. It's by MT, the client in Northern Europe. That should prompt me to know who that is. That summary is good, and here is why. The headline image is of me, and it has consistent branding. This is very nice. Now, what we need to do here is we have the main meeting summary, the headline, so it says meeting summary dash, not semicolon, the 2 dots, blanking on the name, and then, yeah, the way that you always write them, write the headlines, this is good enough. It just needs to be in markdown format, that it's a H2 heading, right? A heading 1 in Google Docs. And then it doesn't say action items underneath, it only says names action items, right? The name and then apostrophe S and the names action items. Then my action items, key discussion points, keep it to 5, exactly 3 to 5, and then epiphany is also 3 to 5. But make sure that you please hard code that into the document, that the meeting summary is no more than 2 pages at max. This is best, because then it shows the header, it shows the footer one time, and it contains all of the important data, right? Please make that so. Okay, now we go to the third run through. Okay, so this is now the third run through, and as I do that all the time, I copy now the meeting transcript and to get alongside with the email, because it was usually failing to retrieve the email. Maybe you can also put that into the notes as a frequent point of failure. So now I click on the Gemini 3 Flash model again, which is interesting to note. Gemini 3 Pro always fails here. Gemini 3 Flash did all of the 2 runs and the ones that I did before without failure. Isn't that fascinating? Okay, so I now click, and this is the message that I record. Please verbatim transcribe that so that we find a way to put that in the SOP, in the normal process of all of that, so I don't need to give the prompt out every time again. So here it is. Thank you very much. Now please do the same thing without changing anything in the Python files or in the directives, just by executing the directives and the scripts as you always do for the meeting summaries. For this transcript, make sure that you keep the transcript points this time also to 2 pages maximum, and utilize the email that I provide to you. I believe in you, you can do this again. Thank you very much. Good. Now we send that over, we paste in the meeting summary, and we are now, man, I can do this all day. This is so much fun, much better than anything. My goodness. This is now the type of work that I really want to do. Can you believe that this is my job? Unbelievable, unbelievable beauty. Life is absolutely fantastic. Good. Then we hit enter, and the redaction is finished. Now we see here, yeah, the last process, and we're going to go through the details as we see them and as we speak them. So, generating the email details, it analyzes the meeting transcript for name redacted, and then it updates task.md. That is not a problem, that it writes for itself a task document. I would even encourage you to put that into the SOP as well. That I think it's good prompting practice, a good practice in making these processes for the prompts, that it basically suggests to itself the execution, and then the execution steps should absolutely match the SOP. Or you can tell me whether just making the SOP and instructing it to adhere to that would make more sense, or whether it would make more sense to let it write the task.md file like it always does and then match it with the SOP. You can tell me whether you would think that that makes sense or not. Now it's updating task.md. Meeting summary is already done. Review requested. I've generated. Okay, so it requests reviews. So it says the meeting summary.md is already generated in the implementation plan. Good. Okay, so I say accept all, and then I need to prompt it one more time. And I say, okay, thank you, execute, which is currently not a problem. It makes it so easy, right? But if I want to be away, and if it should just be triggered via webhook through the Fathom, right, through Fathom, then I would need to find a way to just make it so that I don't need to prompt it anymore. But we've been over that a few times. Now I just say, okay, go execute, please. Good. And we send it over to the model. Now that is now creating, the execution. And going forward. And I also realized that, asking for forgiveness afterwards rather than permission beforehand, when this video really takes off, I can always add some, mask later on and find a way to redact the names going forward and hard coding that here so they can utilize that and, make YouTube videos about it without my clients getting mad. Because I wouldn't mind if like Jack Roberts, for example, had my name in there. I would feel honored, but I know that not everybody likes that, and so I gotta be very protective and very, very conscious and mindful of my clients' preferences. Fortunately enough, yes, I work with great people. Okay, so we accept all of that. It now asks my acceptance once again, creating the Google Doc from the markdown summary. So create _meeting_doc.py. Okay, we accept that. Fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. And now it creates py execution, waiting for the command completion. And it is now going forward and creating the meeting summary. Can you believe that? Okay, so we're waiting for the execution. We're just going to speak into the camera and clarifying the last steps. Creating the Google Doc from the markdown summary. It is checking for command status. It thought for less than 1 second again, checking for command status. It is working, it says, beginning the email drafting with the draft_name_mail. So it creates a custom Python script for every person, I guess, which is fine, I guess. Like you can also put that into the notes of like if it helps the model to have one Python execution file, since I usually have the same calls with the same clients every week. And for every new one, we could set up a new Python script. I don't have an issue with that. We can organize all of that into a neat folder, no problem. And now it's asking for the draft_name_email.py. I accept all of that. I accept this here too. And then it is now drafting the email, and it should all be there in just 1 second. Fantastic. All right, good. Waiting for the command completion. And going forward, it is indeed. Going forward, it is indeed. Good. Gemini 3 flash, check the command status, check command status here. All right, should be done now in just a second. Going over everything. And so yeah, that was the last process. Thank you very much. Good. We're sending this over now. It is transcribing here. Man, we've captured a lot of really good content for that. So I will let the process run a last time. Thank you very much, everybody, for watching. We will put that up. And yeah, thank you everybody for being part of this journey. It is beautiful to have you.